Hi, it's Cammy. Charlie talks football.
Hello everyone and welcome back to Charlie Talks Football. So finally Newcastle United news has came out. We're finally looking quite active on the transfer market. So anyway guys, if you're new around here, make sure to hit that subscribe button and let's get into the video. So as you know, breaking news has came out. Graham Bailey has reported that Newcastle have hijacked Juventus's move for the 23-year-old Nice centre-back Toibo. Now, this is interesting, Dad, because of course Toibo plays for Nice in France, and Paul Mitchell knows players well in France because of course he was at Monaco, wasn't he?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
So what are your thoughts on Toibo?
I've only seen him play a few times for Nice, but he looks very strong. He looks good on the ball. He's confident in one-on-one duels. He's good in the air from what I can remember. So I think he'd be a good signing. I do think he's agreed personal terms with Juventus, but I don't think they've agreed a fee with Nice. So if we can come in and agree a fee with Nice and agree with personal terms with him, because I do think he's keen on the Premier League. He is keen to go to Juventus according to reports as well, but fingers crossed he'd be a good signing.
Yeah, of course Newcastle will be looking to sign a centre-back because of course we've got Botman still injured, Shaw's sort of starting to age, although he's still of course a really good player. So I do think that we do need a centre-back, and I think a really good point to remember is that of course Calafiori had agreed personal terms with Juventus, and now he's in talks with Arsenal, and Juventus pulled out because they couldn't pay the fee. So for me, Dad,
that's a good point.
This is an exact same repeat of that situation. He's agreed personal terms with Juventus. I think he rejected West Ham as well, but he agreed personal terms with Juventus, but they can't agree a fee, which means Newcastle have a chance to come in and convince the player to join the Premier League.
Yeah, and look at the centre-half, I can't remember his name, who's just joined Man United. He was all set to join...
Lenny Euro.
Yeah, he was set to join another team, and...
Real Madrid,
I think it was, and then his agent took him over to the UK, and they've managed to strike a deal with Man United. So it just shows you how things can change fast. And I do believe Newcastle are working on a deal for Malik Thor.
Yes.
It's gone a little bit quiet on that one, but he's another centre half that they're looking to bring in as well. And also we've been linked with the PSG player, haven't we, from South Korea,
Kang in
Lee. So he's a really good player. I remember watching him play for Mallorca in Spain years ago. He's technically good. He's quite small, but he's skillful. He's creative. And he played 23 times for PSG last year, scored a few goals and got, I think, 4 or 5 assists. So he would be an interesting player. And from a financial point of view, his shirt sold more than Mbappe's at PSG last year. And that's purely because the South Korea market, where he'll be very popular out there. So if he actually came to Newcastle, there'll be lots of new Newcastle fans in South Korea, and the shirt sales would be phenomenal out there. So that's another one to keep an eye on.
Yeah, of course, he's a fantastic player, isn't he? Like my dad said, he was at Mallorca, and then he's actually been playing regularly for PSG. And you look at the players PSG have got, I know Dembele's injury prone, but he's still very, very good. So considering that he's playing that amount of games shows that he's not just a bench warmer, and he's actually a good player. But I think, like you said, technically very, very good on the ball. I'm not sure if it'll happen, but I think there is a real opportunity for Newcastle.
Again, with all these players we're being linked to, he's only 23 as well, so he seems to fit the profile of the player we're looking at for age. And, obviously his technical ability and his style of play to suit the player how wants. And with as Charlie says, with Paul Mitchell working in Monaco, he knows the market there really well in France. So it wouldn't be surprised if we sign players from France.
So I just wanted to ask about the Toibo deal as well. Do you think it's going to happen?
Oh, things can change so quickly. Probably not. But it is a possibility. I mean, the lad at Juventus, is it Rabiot?
Yes.
The French guy, he's available for free. He'd be a great signing, but he's not necessarily the key position we need to sign. We've got players in that area, so I think we're really definitely looking at centre-backs or centre-halves, whatever you want to call them, and a right winger who can perhaps play across the front line as well, because we know with Isaac and Wilson, it looks like Wilson's staying there. Could potentially, they have injury issues, but Paul Bunce is it Paul Bunce? I can't think of his first name. Might be Stephen Bunce, but apologies to him. But he's been brought in, who's worked alongside Mitchell to sort of review the fitness side of things and injury prevention. So hopefully we'll have less injuries this year.
And I think there's a real opportunity with both of these two players, Kang In Lee and Toibo, because of course, as you know, the deal with Juventus seems to have stalled, meaning we can get in on that. And not many clubs are really interested in Kang In Lee, it seems. So
yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that one unfolds, and if we do sign him, it would be exciting if we did sign him. But I think now the club are currently in Germany at the Adidas headquarters and the training there. And then I think we'll play Hull next week and then go off to Japan to play there. And then there's a Seller Cup. But I think there's lots of work going on in the background. So don't think because it's gone quiet that there's nothing going on. There will be things going on in the background, and something might just come out of the blue. And it might even be a player who we've not mentioned or no one really knows about. You can always, that's what happened with Isaac, remember. So it's quite an exciting time, even though things seem to be quite quiet.
And I think as well, one thing to point out is that, of course, we've seen the success of when Tottenham signed Song, what that did to the club. It brought over, expanded the brand globally, didn't it? It brought many new fans to Tottenham. So I think this will definitely generate more money into Newcastle if we can sign Kang In Lee.
Yeah. And I think things seem to have gone quiet about how going to England, even though he's strongly tipped and fancy and the FA might want him. I think it's probably going to be more like Graham Potter or potentially what under-21 coach he's called? Lee Carson. Yeah, it could potentially be one of those two. So hopefully, Howe will be staying at Newcastle because he started this project and he wants to continue working on it.
Now, one thing I wanted to mention, guys, was that recently the Everton takeover deal has collapsed regarding the American owners. Now, this could actually be good for Newcastle because one player there's been a lot of rumours about is Calvert-Lewin. It was revealed that Newcastle were actively looking to try and sign the player, and it means that because this takeover deal is off, Everton could potentially look to sell players. So I wouldn't be surprised if in the next few days you hear something about Calvert-Lewin in Newcastle. I know this is a player a lot of Newcastle fans probably wouldn't want, included me, but don't be surprised if that comes out of the blue. Yeah,
I mean, Calvert-Lewin, he's had his injury problems, but on his day, he's a really good player. He would offer us something different in the team. Is he a player who I would go for? Probably not, but if they think they can keep him fit and he's sort of a squad player, he is experienced. So, I do trust Howe in the players that he identifies and brings in, and I'm sure Paul Mitchell will have a view on it as well. And I think he had a meeting the few days ago with Howe in Germany, so hopefully they'll be aligned and on the same wavelength, and they can identify the targets and go and get some players in that's going to benefit the team this season.
Now, I wanted to mention, of course, we've got the Seller Cup happening soon as well. Now, it has been revealed that Newcastle United Women's will play AC Milan women's team on the Saturday.
Yes, that's right. Saturday
very
the 10th,
interesting, that game.
Yeah, that's going to be before the Newcastle-Brest game against the French team. So that'll be an interesting game to go and watch as well. We've got tickets, so we'll be going to that. So we'll bring you some footage from both games. So it's good to see that the women are getting on the pitch again and playing, in front of all those fans. It's really positive to help the women's game grow.
Now, I also wanted to mention Amanda Staveley because, of course, she has been potentially in talks with advisors about Tottenham about potentially buying a stake in the club. Now, what's really interesting about this is, of course, she left Newcastle. She's going to leave Newcastle along with Merdad. So it would be a bit interesting if she bought a stake in Tottenham. Yeah,
it would be. I mean, that's what they do. They were brought in to facilitate the takeover, and she's still got a lot of passion for Newcastle. She'll always be a fan, and I'm sure Merdad's the same. But she is a businesswoman, and that's what she does. So it's it's not surprising, but we'll just have to see how that unfolds.
How would you feel about that in the comments, guys? But anyway, thank you for watching this video. Make sure to subscribe as well. Thanks for all the support. As usual, what are your thoughts on the news regarding Kang In Lee and also what's the player? Sorry.
Oh, is it that Malik Thorne?
Malik Thorne Toibo. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.